Get a part of me. I hang my head from sorrow.
Happy Monday!
Happy Monday, girl. We did
We
it.
are here. We are here. Hello,
Indeed,
everyone.
indeed. Hello.
We're back. It's Monday night. Arrears
Happy
of State
Monday.
Podcast. Yes, yes. And for those of you that's following us on Instagram, I need for you to go to Arrears O'Shea because we have a special guest tonight, and you can't see her on the
IG.
3-person shot because it's on Instagram. So go to Arrears O'Shea. Make sure you subscribe. I need everybody to subscribe. Hey, cousin Sherry, go see Akyra on YouTube so you'll be able to see her when she comes on, and you can see the whole show. But when it's me and Tish, it's good. But the problem is you can't see when we do the slides. You can't see when we provide the information. So go to YouTube channel, Arrears O'Shea. Click on that, and you'll see it'll come up live. Yes. Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Yes,
We in
yes,
the
yes.
building.
Monday night with the Rizzo Shea Park.
We
We've
made
been giving our
it.
truths. Me and Tish, we're here giving our 50 plus years of experience. We want to thank you so much. Each week, we notice that our audience is growing, so we're doing something. Thank you guys for all the love. How you doing, Tish? Wait a minute, I can't. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna
All
get.
these
Oh, okay.
cards.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay. So thank you for the heart. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Who is that? Who's that? Young Giants. Who's that, Tish? You know who that is?
No giants. No, I didn't.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not
Well,
popping up on mine. I don't see that.
and we want to thank you guys because we're just having fun. I mean,
That's what we did.
all we doing, we just having a conversation. Everything begin with H and end in R. This is our passions, our truths, and we bring it every Monday night. And we just hopefully we could drop a nugget, into you and say, hey, this is something you need to take in consideration. Or if you want more professional information, that's what we are. We're professionals. We've been in the business, like I said, 50 plus years. So we got answers to your questions. And hey, we open, we can learn a little something here and there. But this is what I do. I'm the CEO of Riz O'Shea, All Natural Body Butter. I got here from a jar of just some product I created in a kids salon in Philadelphia. Got into 23 Whole Food stores up and down the East Coast, started shipping overseas. And guess what? Now I'm here. So, with that being said, in my travels, I met this lovely lady, and I just had to ask her to try my product, even though she was like, "Look, lady, I know you from the DMV area, like I am, but I got something that's working." I said, "You ain't got something working like what I got, because I got 13 ingredients." And she was like, everybody same pitch. So from that moment on, we had our own little bond. And it's unbelievable how just everything just came back 360. I mean, 360. Even though I was in her presence throughout the years, she used my product. But now we have taken this to a whole nother level.
Absolutely.
I invited her to be a guest with me on Portia's show on Fox, and she said yes. And then I said, let's do a podcast. And she said yes. And this is history. So
In the making.
that's it. Further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Letitia Allen Joseph. She's going to tell you all about herself. And then we're going to talk a little bit about our topic tonight. And then we're going to bring on our special guest.
Oh, I'm excited about tonight.
Yes, I am.
Well, hello everyone, and yes, Maria with that wonderful intro. I am Letitia D. Allen Joseph, and I am the salon owner of Savvy Elite Salon, located here in Tyrone, Georgia.
Yes.
Like she mentioned before, we are both from the DMV area, and I arrived here about 2011. I had the privilege of meeting Maria back in 2016. And like she said, our little unique story, she was going to an existing stylist and bringing forth her product. And I had just recently taken over the salon. I had all this beautiful decor of shea butter. I'm gonna have to post these pictures one day, and that's gonna be hilarious.
Yes.
And she was like, "Oh, you got, I see what you got, but that's for play." I was like,
Like,
"What?"
who is this girl? Who is this?
Oh, and what I did not tell you was that the product that I was promoting, the young lady was from Philly.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yes, yes,
Oh
yes,
my
yes. So
goodness.
that's another
Oh, okay, okay. We gotta get with that.
nugget.
Okay, tell me about that. Okay. All right. Okay.
But that was funny. But I
Well,
did
she had
learn.
what I had.
Right. Once I sampled her product, I was pleasantly and highly impressed. It's 7 years later, eight now, still using her product. So yes, I am Letitia D. Allen Joseph, and here rocking with Maria Lee as we talk about this amazing product that she has created and marketed for herself. So this is exciting. We have definitely, like I said, 8 years full circle, and having this podcast is a platform for us to share and talk about what we love, our passion, and what we do on a daily. So if you're ever in the Georgia area and you want your hair service, come see me at Savvy Elite Salon, located in Tyrone, Georgia. And we can post phone numbers, but you can leave messages and things like that, correct,
That's
on
right.
our YouTube
That's right.
page.
Comment. Put it in the comments.
Comment,
We'll put it out
absolutely,
there. That's
absolutely.
right.
So we are excited to bring you special guest tonight.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure you guys are going to enjoy her. So without further ado, let's get tonight started.
Yes. So listen, this is the thing. I two things I have to talk about tonight. One is I for those who's on my Facebook and my Instagram, I know you heard me talk about I was going to go back to being, natural with the two-strand twist and all that. Okay, so I'm here. It's done. It's over. No more straight hair. But I'm doing a 2-year sabbatical, and it's quite interesting. If you want to join me, let me know. I'll make sure I'll keep you abreast with everything, and tell you exactly what I'm doing. I just was just asking everybody, look, maybe you just need to give your hair a break, from the heat and from the blow drying, and just see how long your hair can grow. Number one, how strong it's going to grow. Number two, and just a change. I mean, you know, you just need a break. Everybody needs a break. So today, if anybody been to my Facebook page or my TikTok page, I was outside and I was trying to explain to the world because someone had asked me, they reached out to me and says, look, I want to do the 2 years with you. She said, but can I continue to color my hair? So I said, yeah, because I don't color mine. I mean, if y'all remember last week, this is all white. It's not white anymore, okay? So, so, so I said, well, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to record it because I'm pretty sure she's thinking that way. And there's other people thinking that way. If y'all get a chance, please. I was gonna save it and put it on here tonight, but we were laughing so hard, we probably wouldn't even have respect for my next guest. And so for our special guest. So I decided to just leave that alone. Tish, I thought I sent it to her earlier. She did not get it earlier. I just sent it to her. And the crazy part about it was the crazy part about it was I just sent her the Facebook the whole version. She is going. So I could not do that. I could not do that. Dude, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So with that being said, we're going to talk. Right now, we're going to just talk about what drew us to our profession. Because every time I think about that video, but if you get a chance, go to my Facebook page and go to TikTok. TikTok, I got it on there too. You are going to crack up because I was in the middle of recording a response, and it is unbelievable of the transactions that happen after that. Oh
The
my
day
God.
in the life. How about
Woo.
that of Maria?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank God it wasn't live. It was live. Oh my goodness.
Woo,
That probably would have
trouble.
been viral. They would have already shared that a million times.
Yes,
But
yes,
anyway, you have to go look at it. So Tish,
yes.
how did we get drawn into cosmetology? How what
Wow.
you know, I'll let you go first and then I'll go
Okay.
after you because
Well,
mine is short and sweet.
the funny thing is, and I kind of put this sometimes in my intro, that this profession chose me. I did not choose it.
Yes.
Okay, I had other plans for my life,
Mhm.
but things happen, and the plan was rewritten, and so I just had to go with it. And when I did, oh man, I never intended to enjoy something so much. I don't know if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I never intended to fall so deep in love with what I do.
Okay.
Um, it was never in my path. Just not even. But what was a part of me was that my family, my sisters, my mother, my aunts, they all dabbled in hair. They kept our hair
Oh, ah,
looking great throughout our journey. As a young girl, I remember my eighth grade school dance, and my aunt was like, "Oh, I got you." Now, mind you, I used to go with her to the salon, and I'll never forget. In DC, there was this amazing hairstylist named David Dior, God rest his soul. And I know I had to be about 8 or 10 going with her, and I would sit with her to get her pin curls. Remember the pin curls, the pencil
Yeah, that's
curls
right. That's right.
back in the
Mhm.
the late 80s kind of,
Yes.
and those pencils. I mean, he did such immaculate work. To watch him was like watching a performance.
Mhm.
Okay. And so, but yet, still not in my psyche. Not saying this is what I want to do. I just enjoy watching.
Right.
And
Exactly.
so we would sit there for hours and we would have lunch because the day would be long, trust.
Okay.
And so that probably just kind of stamped the back of the brain, if you will, because it wasn't until I was 16 and ironically it was the first lady of the church that we had just started going to. I grew up in a church and was there from like 5 to 16, 17.
Okay.
But when I went to this new church, we wasn't there long at all. And the first lady was like, she approached my mother after church. And my mother knew how I felt about doing hair. I wasn't thinking about that. And so she said, "You think Tish would be interested? Because there's a salon where I go get my hair done, and the lady needs some help." And I was like, my mother knew not to ask me. Did not mind you, this is the first lady. She knew not to ask me in front of this lady because I would be like,
Oh my.
so my mother waited till we got home because she knew I had verbalized this over. Like, why y'all doing hair outside on the porch? Why y'all doing? Why? I just did not see the professionalism in it at
Okay.
all. They were,
Okay.
doing hair at the house. Child, I said, well, my mother approached me and she handled it very, she knew she had to approach me gently. I was not vibing. And
Uh-huh.
she said, did you hear what the first lady said? And I said, yeah. Now, mind you, I'm about 16 and a half, about 17,
Mm.
but always been very sure of myself. Please, let's
Okay.
be clear.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so she said, what would you think? And I said, well, I'll go check it out. I'm doing her a favor. In my head, I'm like, I'll just go see what it's about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what she did, she had took us an apartment, a
Oh,
whole apartment,
wow.
to a full service salon. So when I walked in, I saw a front desk, I saw waiting chairs, and then we turned the corner and I saw the stations, the color area. I said, "Oh, now this is professional." I can kind of because I knew I wanted something more than just sitting on a porch in the summertime doing the neighbor's hair. Like what I saw
Uh-huh.
my sister
What you
do.
saw? What you grew up on? You saw that.
Yeah, but what I saw was something more elegant, more professional.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, now this I can get with because I love the layout. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was the actual layout of the salon that drew me.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, you know, what else came after until it began, if you will. So I was drawn in by the professional setup. I love to see the salon chairs, the shampoo bowls. Because, see, I'm seeing that this is where the magic happens.
Mm-hmm.
And so um, I ended up working for this lady for 2 years during apprenticeship.
Wow.
I would catch the bus in my junior, senior year in high school, and it was on the complete opposite side of town. So I
Mm.
would leave early. Now, mind you, this is still not the profession I'm choosing for myself. I'm just helping her out.
You helping her out. That's right.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I said, well, I do this for a little bit. But then there was a stylist named Jamila Nero. I will never forget her. She was amazing. She was extremely talented. She went on to do my hair for another like graduation prom, whatever.
Wow.
They embraced me. Now, mind you, I was like 16, 17 years old. The owner was about 36 and Jamila was about 28, but she had a gift and she would turn out heads and I would just be like, okay, she is gifted. So I'm starting to see like, okay,
Right.
y'all trying to convince me that this profession is something
That's
I
right.
want.
That's something different. It's not what I'm used to seeing. Okay. Okay.
Exactly. And so I just kind of, like I said, that was 2 years of my life. I graduated, and then my husband was like, we were dating at the time. We were engaged. Yes, I was engaged at 16. And he was like,
No
you
judgment
should
over
really,
here. At
hey,
least you had a
35
man.
years still together.
Yeah,
Um,
amen, amen,
he would
amen.
he would say, you should really think about doing this professionally. I was like, doing what? He was like, hair. And I was like, why? He said, because you're good at it. I'm like, what you see? Like what? And
Uh-huh.
so what was happening was because I was assisting, she was training me. Um, some of the clients was like, well, can you go ahead and finish it? And then she would challenge me. And so I'm like, I love a challenge. Don't do that. So
Right. That's right.
whatever she challenged me to, I would, rise up to the challenge.
Mhm.
And so my husband kept seeing that. I had did hair for friends in middle school, just kind of helping out because I had been seeing it all my life. So it was second nature, if you
Mhm.
will, but it still wasn't the path that I was going to choose for myself.
Mhm.
And so this placement kind of groomed me. It started showing me, the different sides of the profession. And I said, you know what? I'm going in the dental field.
Wow. Wow. You went straight in the dental field. Didn't even do cosmetology at all.
Not at that moment. I went to the dental field and I was working for 8 different doctors, black doctors, specialists. I loved it. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I was doing prosthodontics work. I was helping with ortho, putting on braces. I was doing treatment plans. I was taking X-rays. Oh, I loved it. And
Wow.
the office manager approached me one day. She said, "Excuse me, but I heard you do hair."
Wow. This
Excuse me?
yeah, excuse me, right? Uh-huh. Where you hear that from?
Yeah, well, I forgot that the young lady that referred me to that location was my mother-in-law's BFF.
Oh.
And of course, mother-in-law knew the whole history.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I said, yeah. She said, well, my daughters have a little dance and I want you to do my oldest daughter's hair for her dance. You think you can do that? I was like, yeah. She showed me a picture and it was something that I could do in my sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, bring it to the house. Bring it to the little apartments. Bring it to the apartment. Do little girl hair. The mother is so impressed. And I'm like, of course she tells everyone, Miss Tish did my daughter's hair. Look what she did. She had pictures. She had proof.
She had the receipts.
Yeah, she had the receipts. And then she had another daughter that she asked, and I'm like, okay, you're making this a habit. I'm thinking of just doing one. Well, it went from her to her daughter to actually her, the whole
I was
office.
getting ready to say, what happened to her? Okay.
Yeah. And after that, I was like doing hair every weekend in my apartment with
Wow.
my apprenticeship license that I got from when I was 18.
Wow.
And I said, oh, if I'm gonna do this, I do not want to be trapped in my house. Let me go to cosmetology school and get my license. Did that. Of course, that was 11 months. And while I was in there, the staff saw that I had prior skills from my apprenticeship. And they had me to help train the rest of the students.
Wow.
And I'm like, why can't I get away from this teaching thing? Why can't I get away from this head thing? Like, I didn't come here to be the teacher's assistant. I just came so I won't have to do hair in my apartment.
Right, exactly. You trying to get your license so you can make your living and go
Yes.
home. Okay.
And go home and not be trapped in my house blowing fuses. With my hair dryers, lined up on the dining room table. Girl, I had like 3, 4 hair dryers. Girl, it was
Oh, Lord Jesus, been there, done that.
girl.
Wow.
After I realized, like, okay, this is something that just keeps popping up. I have to pay homage to a young man named Nat Lewis in the Silver Spring Decade Hair Salon. He walks in looking like he's straight from Chicago. Okay, top hat. Okay, double breasted coat, pointed sharp black shoes,
Oh, wow.
and a briefcase. Now, I'm about 19 and a half, 20 at this point,
Okay.
and he's about 38. And he looks at me and he says, I know where you need to be when you finish this beauty school. I know the perfect salon for you. Excuse me? He wasn't even there 2 minutes. But he was a licensed barber wanting to go to the next level in the cosmetology arena.
Wow.
So he enrolled himself into cosmetology school. He had been barbering for 15, 20 years
Okay.
and decided he wanted to get his cosmetology license so he can grow his business.
Mm.
And so once my 11 to 12 months was up, I said, what was the name of that salon you said? And I said, I'm going to take you up on that. Went to the salon, and man, that was the best advice. This was a traveling salon, a
Wow.
training salon.
Mm.
So they were constantly training, traveling, and taking the industry to the next level. And I said, now this is professional. This is what I like. So I was literally drawn to that,
Mm.
professional energy that, came well dressed. They dressed up every day. They made sure they looked the part. And I said, now
Mm.
I can be a part of something like this. And I was, let me see, there from like maybe 19 and a half to about 26 years old. I stayed, I grew, they groomed me, they taught me the barbering. This is where the barbering techniques came in.
That's where it came from. Okay.
Yeah, there was several men. And
Mhm.
then the man that told me about the salon didn't even work there.
Wow.
He worked down the street. But that salon where he was not providing him with the professionalism that he was trying to upgrade to.
Okay.
So he
Okay.
had been looking at this salon, it's called Salon Obsessions, from the distance saying, man, I'm admiring what's going on in that place. Eventually he came to work for that same company. And when I tell you, we did some of everything. We went to Bronner Brothers. We was coming back and forth to Atlanta. So I've been a
Okay.
part of this whole Atlanta experience, the hair shows, since
Mhm.
between 18, 14, because I was coming for a different reason back in the day when I was
Right.
14.
Right.
But yeah, so Bronner Brother has been a part of my existence when I was doing platform. This is with the platform, being a part of a salon that was training and traveling. So I was like, this is amazing. So that whole experience showed me a broader perspective of the industry. And it was then and that moment when I stood on that stage and spoke to the people and commanded their attention, and the energy that was received from the audience was like none other. And you have to get models, you have to, you
Right.
know, yeah, you got to hunt the models down throughout the day, see who's excited about wanting to be a model, who's willing to allow you to service their hair for the day or 2 or 3 sometimes, because it was like 3-day show, 3-4 day show. And so
Mhm.
sometimes you need to bring those models back. Man, that was so thrilling. I was like, this is amazing. But
Well,
I had a
Chris,
great
that's what
team.
I'm talking.
Yeah, I was with an amazing group of people who were eager to learn, teach, and like I said, I was the youngest, in the salon. They took me under their wing and really showed me that this is what cosmetology is about. Education, teaching your clients, teaching your peers that are around you that maybe have no clue, but they love what they're seeing and they want to execute, but they don't know where to start or where to begin. That salon provided that, for me and the people that came in contact along the way. So it grew me in a different level, and so um, from there I went on to teach. I left that company and was working for JC Penney when they said, we need a manager. And I was like, okay. They said, with your skills, we want you. They said, but managers can't do hair. I said, really? I kind
What?
of like that. Yeah, they didn't want their they want their managers available
Okay.
to
Hmm.
help train,
That's right.
hire, kind of do the logistics,
Yeah.
of the field, because you got to order your products and
Right.
you got to make sure the customers are happy. You got to stock. You got to. So it was the other side that I
Mm,
liked as well.
okay. Okay.
And so I was like, I have no problem stepping behind the chair, not stepping behind the chair, because remember, I've always wanted to do something outside of hair anyway. So I was like, I
Exactly.
can do this. And I
Hmm.
enjoyed that aspect of it as well. So when I saw the corporate, and that's how I make the distinction, the
Hmm.
corporate side of cosmetology and the non corporate. So learning both sides of the industry was like, oh, wow, this is a lot of information to consume. It's not just about clicking a curling iron. It's not just about, styling or giving the client a look. It's the total package. So when the opportunity presented itself for me to run my own salon, I was like, oh, this is second nature, because that's a lot of years of training.
Hmm.
I didn't open my own salon until I was what, 28. The modern day 28.
Okay. Okay. That's modern day
Y'all do the
28.
math. Y'all do the math. Y'all figure it out.
It is.
But, but yeah, it took me a while to want that. I didn't go into it saying, "Oh, one day I'm having my own salon." That was not my agenda. That was not my objective at all. I just want to take care of the customer. But, life has it that all these levels of experience, it opened me up. So when I moved to Georgia, opportunity presented itself, because I said, if I'm going to do this for another 15, 20 years, it has to be my own,
There
you know,
you go.
where
Hmm.
I can, lay that foundation and have my level of expectation and give the customer service that I want to give to the clients, and make them feel um, good about themselves. I don't let women bash themselves in my salon. I don't let a stylist bash themselves. Oh, I'm to this. No, no negativity. Embrace yourself. I'm a firm believer in that. We can't. Oh, girl, my arms too big. My uh,
Mm-mm.
what you gonna do if you didn't have them arms?
Amen.
Okay, life is so much bigger than
Yeah,
I'm
go
just
ahead, moms, just doing it with their toes. Stop playing.
right. Listen, you
Mhm.
are blessed to be able to have your limbs,
That's right.
working limbs. So I don't want to hear, oh, I'm too big. Do something about it. But we're
Mm.
not gonna complain. We're not gonna talk about ourselves. We're not gonna bash ourselves. We're gonna uplift ourselves because it's important. Self-esteem and how we present ourselves and how the clients see us is inspiring. And we can't walk around bashing ourselves, because what kind of energy is that gonna send to the client? Their hair gonna be beautiful and be like, my head nappy, it don't look right.
Right.
No, your hair is gorgeous. So that part of the industry of the professionalism and pouring in positive energy to men and women and children is what drew me. That's what it was, you know. And I'm still standing 34 years later.
Love
Still on the same
it.
thing.
Love it. Wow. Well, listen, that story was amazing because
Mm,
if I had to say, I knew what I knew your story because you told it to me before, but
mm-hmm,
I was all coming off the street and coming into your salon and getting my hair done, and you told me you was a dentist hygienist. I was like, what you talking about? You standing here? You what? And
right.
then all the steps of getting to where you are today, that's just
Mm-hmm,
so fascinating, Tish.
yeah.
That hats off to you, girl. You did that. Because I was like, yeah, so now I understand where the barbering part, because I never understood where the barbering part came from.
Mm-hmm,
And my story is basically not similar to yours because it's way off into the how I got into it because I want to be Wonder Woman, but it's I can feel how I just stepped into it and just kept going. It
mm,
wasn't where I jumped in and jumped out of it. Once I was in it to win it.
mm.
But I'll tell my story later. But I'm gonna bring my little cousin on because my little cousin, she is so okay. Let me back this up. Okay, so as far as we know, in my immediate family, in my immediate family, I am the first to go in this profession.
Okay.
All my brothers and sisters, they either worked for the government or the state or they did other things, but they weren't entrepreneurs, not full entrepreneurs like I became.
Mm,
And nobody did hair. There was no we. They were like, we don't even know where that came from, Maria.
mm,
Why did you want to do hair? But once I tell my story, you'll understand why, because it was for a purpose.
mm.
That's how I got into the profession, and then it just took off from there. But my little cousin name is Akyra Thompson, and I can't wait to hear her story because it hasn't been a lot that came behind me out of my family that's taken it to owning their own salon. And she is, as far as I know, of my immediate family, she's the next generation that came up behind me. But younger people are doing it a little different. We grew up with pink curls, jerry curls, a lot of hairspray. Well, this young lady, the reason I want to bring her on tonight is because she's doing something totally different. Now we know about natural because you do natural hair all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
you didn't go in to do a wholesome natural salon.
Mm.
That's all she does. And
Wow.
to me, and been doing it in Williamsburg, Virginia. Now, anybody know anything about Virginia? You doing something in Williamsburg, you doing something right. So I'm gonna allow her, Akara, to come on and she's gonna tell her story. And I'm so happy to have you on. Akara, hey sweetie.
Hey, thank you
Oh,
so much for having me, ladies. I'm so excited.
Girl,
welcome.
I told
Yeah.
about you, and Tish was like, "What?" I says, "Listen, we got to have her on. I wanted her on because her story is going to be totally different than our story because we come from a different era. Now, um, the whole natural hair had just come into play. I guess Tish, what in the last 10 years, we kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
to it, but we weren't where we were going to do an all natural salon, and we didn't go in it as full fledged. But I want you to tell our audience about yourself, and then I want you to tell us how did you get into it? Because I never understood how you really got into it.
Yeah.
Because I left Virginia, and that's when you started doing hair when I left Virginia.
Right.
So talk to me. Tell us a little bit. First of all, who are you, dear, other than my little cousin?
So I grew
Yeah.
up in Gloucester, just like Maria. That's where our family is from. Little small country town in Virginia. I'm an only child. But there are not a lot of hairstylists in our family. There's Maria, and then I have a cousin. who is now passed away. Her name is Mildred Williams, but she married into our family, and she was the first person that I directly saw as, entrepreneur and a hairstylist. But we're talking like old fashioned 2-chair salon, no bathroom, press and curl only. Okay. Like this is how old school it was. So she did the hair. I figured she did everybody's hair in the town.
That's when I decided to do my own hair. But go ahead, tell us.
Yeah, so you can relate when we had these early morning appointments and getting burnt every time on the back of your neck. It just, so I mean, the things that we went through, you think we wouldn't want to do hair. It had nothing to do with it because it was just so bad.
Yes, right.
Right. So, yeah, that's my upbringing. I actually did not want to do hair. I'm supposed to be a social worker right now. So. Yes, I've always had a heart for people, even as a child, just wanting to make people feel good about themselves, encourage them, really embrace the natural beauty that people have. Well, let's backtrack to who I am and not just run into it. So I'm a mom of 4. I am a lover of God. I believe it's my calling to make people feel good about themselves and remind them who they are in Christ and let their outer beauty reflect their inner beauty, and have them love themselves the way that God loves them. So I started my salon after realizing there was a piece I feel that's missing, at least in this area, that embraces natural hair. And it's funny, when I started doing hair, I did it because I wanted to learn more about my hair. My hair was never relaxed. My mother did not believe in getting relaxed. She was a press and curl queen. No matter how much I begged, she never let me get one. I wanted to be like my friends. I had my hair flowing in the wind like everybody else. But she was stuck on the press and curl. And I became fed up with having her do it. And so I was like, you know what? There's this new thing out called the flat iron. I'm gonna try it. And if I could get my hair pressed better than you, then I'm gonna do my own hair. And you don't gotta burn me no more. And that's where it started. I believe I was like 13 or 14. So I'm learning to do my own hair. And I'm entering high school the next year at Gloucester High School. And I noticed that they had a cosmetology program. And back then, the program was about like 4 years long because it was a part of your high school curriculum. So you had to take it like in periods. So like, maybe you would say like your third period is cosmetology. So I did it just to kind of learn more about my hair. And it seemed like it would be fun. I enjoyed doing hair and playing with my own. And, when I was a child, I did my doll's hair and all of that. So I was like, oh, this will be cool. And it's going to be easy A because, I already do my own hair. I can do this. So, look, it was not an easy A. Okay, I learned real quick. First year in, we ain't doing nothing but book work. I'm like, what is this? Let me play on a mannequin or something. Like, what do you mean? We got a test. So I was like thrown, especially people don't realize the other elements of part of cosmetology. You have to learn chemistry. You need to know geometry. You even learn anatomy. And people don't realize all of that plays a part into this industry and is important. So I had a real wake up call that first year. I was like, oh, this is a real class. Oh, heck no. But my mother, she was someone who was like, oh no, once you start something, you're not quitting. And this is a great, plan B for you, something extra you can do. She often referenced you, Maria. Maria's doing hair. She, it's good. She make money. So I'm like, oh, okay, all right. We're gonna try it, whatever. So I continue in and I keep learning, and I just fell in love with it. And even learning the science behind things, I was so interested in that. And I was a nerd in school, so I loved all of that stuff. And so I just love learning the why and the how. Like, oh, if you stretch the hair out, it'll do this. Oh, if you mix this together, it'll do that. So it was so interesting to me that this is something that allows you to have artistic expression, and you can also make it a career, and you're also having fun making people feel good about themselves. Sorry. So yeah, I continued doing hair and learning all I could in school. And as part of our program, our teacher wanted us to get an internship at a local salon. And this is about 11th grade year. And so we're actually going to go and work with as an apprentice at another salon in the area. So I chose to go and work at a salon called Smart Style that used to be in our local Walmart because I figured it had a high walk-in traffic. I could learn everything I needed to know. And it was very important to me to learn both Caucasian hair types and Black hair types. Because what I had noticed in my community that all the salons are segregated. And I'm like, that's interesting. Why we got to be separated? I never understood. And I'm like, well, I want to be able to service anyone that sits in my chair. Right. And I'm not going to be able to get that if I just choose one or the other. So I'm going to go someplace where I feel like I could be an asset because I'm knowledgeable about Black hair because I have Black hair. And I could learn about other cultures' hair as well. So I decided to work there. And it was rough. The first year was very, very rough. And I didn't realize bridging that gap between school and actually real life would be so hard. To see those concepts in your textbook played out in real life is so different. And so I had difficulty at first, even with haircutting, trying to figure out, you know, the angles and how they actually looked in real life on real heads, on different growth patterns, on different textures. It's so different from the basics you learn on a mannequin. And so that was my first time where I really had to work at something because being a nerd in school came easy. I could do bookwork all day, but I'm working with my hands now. I'm having to take into account all these different factors, people's facial shapes, people's hair history. It's all this extra existential knowledge that you need to make this work. And I was determined to figure it out. I remember my first day, I sprayed somebody with a water hose. I remember part of my first year, I cut somebody's ear. And I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe this is not for me. I'm not good enough for this. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And then with working with some of the customers, it was like, I wasn't taught how to do finger waves. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do your pump it up curls. I don't know how to do that. I ain't learned that at school. Right. So now I'm having this extra culture shift because I'm like, dang, am I Black enough? Like, should I be doing this? Like, it was just a whole thing for me, a whole shift to really evaluate myself in different areas and challenge myself to learn new things and adapt to a new environment. But even then I noticed, and this was, mind you, this was like 15 years ago. So that natural hair movement really wasn't in full effect yet. But I noticed then, I'm like, how come nobody wants to wear their natural hair? How come nobody's embracing that? Why is everybody so stuck on how straight we can get it? Why is everybody trying to make their hair do something that's not supposed to do? You know, so that in my mind, I was challenging those things like, okay, I'm going to look more into this and just play around with some things and see if we, just exploring it. Like, I wonder if I can get people to try wearing their own hair for once and not, trying to relax it or trying to put a weave in or wanting to do all these different things. But back then there were really no products that are catered to natural hair. And so I'm over there and we had a salon brand called Regis. And, it had lots of different things. Yeah, design line. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm going to see what this gel going to do because, okay, it's gel. It holds. Can it hold some curls? And so I'm playing around with the gel like, oh, if I put this in the hair, it makes the curls pop real nice. Okay, let's try this. And so slowly but surely, I'm getting more people to try their natural hair and really embrace, a natural curl pattern and not shy away from it. Because how I grew up was, and in my era, I guess, too, it's like, okay, we were obsessed with straight hair. Everybody wants the Aaliyah swoop. Everybody want, the flip out. Everybody wants to be, easy breezy, but nobody's embracing their curls. And I remember I even came to school one day because I'm interested, and I pulled my hair up into a ponytail, and I put my little Garnier Fructis, because that's what I had. My little Garnier Fructis gel, and I scrunched my hair. I said, well, I see my Caucasian friends, they scrunching their hair, and they got curl. I got more curl than them. I'm gonna scrunch my hair too and see what happens. And everybody's like, oh, your hair looks cool. What did you do? You know, what did you do? Are you Indian? I'm like, no, I'm not Indian. I'm Black. People love to call people Indian when they look like they got something going on with their hair. You know, it's like, no, I'm Black. No.
I'm honest over here. I get it all the time.
It's in there in the bloodline somewhere. But I was like, no, this my hair. And I'm like, oh, okay. And, you know, at my school at that time, 2009, 2010, like that's revolutionary. Ain't nobody doing that right now, you know?
Right.
And it's so hilarious because I do feel like history repeats itself. And I'm like, where are the Afro warriors of the 70s? Why are we so scared of our hair? Our hair, the way it comes out of our scalp, why are we so afraid of our hair and what it does naturally, you know? So even then I was pushing for natural hair, didn't really know how to do it or what was supposed to be done. But I'm like, I am interested in this because I'm not seeing it. And I'm not sure why I'm not seeing it. Mm-hmm. So after that, I spent about maybe 4 years at the Smart Style, did super well. I built a clientele of all different races of people, which I was super proud of. And I eventually decided to leave. During this time, I also had my oldest daughter, who's now 13. I actually had her right after senior year. So it was 2010 was a crazy year. So I was pregnant. I got my cosmetology license, and then I graduated from high school. And I didn't get to go off to school because I was supposed to be a social worker. And so because I was pregnant with my daughter, I decided to stay. And because I had already, you know, generating income as a hairstylist, I decided to just, okay, that's a great way to support my daughter. In my mind, it wasn't feasible for me to go to school with her having an infant. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna just stick with this, and then I'll just take online classes at school. So I would just continue doing this, you know, make my little money, because I couldn't get away from, oh, I get tipped every day. I get to walk home with money every day. I ain't gotta wait 2 weeks for a paycheck. I get money today.
That's it.
Right, because when you need diapers and formula today, them little tips matter. That matters. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be smart about this, and I'm just gonna do this, take classes in school, and then I'll be on my way and forget about this. This is not really what I want to do. It's cool, it's fun, but like you said, it's just not really. This not it, right? I'm gonna go on my bed. This is fun for right now. And so even you know that even though I was making money, it still wasn't a feasible income to support us. So I always had a second job. So I had side jobs doing other things. Like one time I was a secretary at a college as a second job. I worked at a gift shop at a museum as a second job. Worked at a kids salon for a second job. Still while I'm going to school to you know, to be a social worker. Eventually, I leave Smart Style after about 4 years, and I moved to another salon on Main Street in Gloucester, which is our hometown. Super small. This lady's like, "Oh yeah, I need help. I'm opening this salon. I think you'd be a good fit because you bring a mix of clientele. This is gonna be great. We're on Main Street, and I really need some help." So I'm like, okay, cool, sure. It's a booth rental situation. I'm like, all right, awesome. You know, I'm gonna figure it out. It's gonna work. I'm gonna be able to take home more money. I'll make more. And so I leave Smart Style. It's typical of corporate salons not to share where you went. They don't usually do that. But I did have a couple of coworkers who gave them my information, so I was grateful for that. So eventually people were finding me there. Everything is going cool. I'm building up clientele. And then all of a sudden, one day, the lady who's a barber next door, she somehow gets my number and calls me. It's like, yeah, you probably should come over here because Mary, the owner, she's up and left and all of your stuff is all over the floor. I'm like, excuse me? What do you mean? I just paid rent for booth rent. So what do you mean? She's like, you should come over here and get your stuff. And by
Oh,
this time, I had brought 2 other stylists from our corporate salon with me to this new salon. So we're doing fine. And I called them, like, they said Mary is gone. She's gone and our stuff is on the floor. And she's like, what are you talking about? So we go over there. They let us in. And she has removed all the stations. She removed everything out of the salon. And she dumped all of our products and appliances. Everything is on the floor. She has booked it because apparently she was behind on her rent. And she got evicted by the building owner.
And didn't
Yes.
tell anybody
It
nothing.
didn't tell nobody.
No, didn't say a word. And so I am crushed. I'm like, oh my gosh. I believed in what we were doing. I believe I was somewhere where I was going to take off and this happens. And so I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So in the same week, I called this salon, another salon in town that I had seen and heard of and, had heard good things about. And I told them my situation. I'm like, okay. I walk in there and I'm like, can you please, I called them and asked them to meet with me. I walked in there and I said, this is my situation. I have my daughter with me and I'm pregnant with my second child right now. And I'm in there and I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry for one that I'm here and my daughter's here, but I don't have anybody to watch her. This is my situation. The lady's gone. I need somewhere to work. Can you work with me? And can maybe I rent a chair here for about 2 to 3 days and we'll do it like a daily basis. You see how it works out, see how I am with the clients. And mind you, this is a salon that is not diverse. They are all white and they're all looking at me like, oh, hello.
Do you not know where you are?
All right, like, okay. I'm like, hey, my clientele is diverse. I'm professional. I'm good. I promise everything's going to work out. Just give me a chance until I can find somewhere else to be because I have appointments this week and I have nowhere to service them. Exactly. She's like, okay, well, we'll do I think it was like $50 a day and you could come and we'll see how it works out. And so I tell my clients I moved abruptly. And I'm working here in this salon's called Roots to Ends, and I never forget them because they were so kind. She was like, "Okay, sugar, you can come on, all right." And so I came, I did my clients, and I'm moving through, and probably about a week later, like, okay, I'm really impressed with your professionalism, and you seem super nice. We'd love to have you, so you can stay and start renting a space here, and so. There they became like a sisterhood, and it was so unlikely to me that we would connect like that. And mind you, some of these women, they are like, they are what you think of like down home, like country, white women, but they were so kind. And one of the ladies in particular, she's from an area called Guinea, and Maria knows what I'm talking about, but Guinea has a rep in our area for being like really kind of like backwoods people. They're racist. They don't want nothing to deal with you. But she admitted to me like years later, like, okay, I didn't think that this was going to amount to much. I thought you would be a certain way, but I've been proven wrong. And I'm so grateful to have met you. And we just had a wonderful relationship. We all taught each other things. They taught me more color theory because they were a color heavy salon. They could bust out some highlights like nobody's business, like hour and a half, like tops, they're done. Like they were amazing, teaching me like just, the color wheel, what cancels out what. This is how you do a color correction. Things that I never learned in school, never learned anywhere else and extensively like that. And I taught them more about our hair. I taught them more about natural hair, what our hair needs, the importance of moisture and, protein moisture balance. I taught them about, doing a good silk press, just perfecting their skills with dealing with curly or more natural textured hair. So I felt like it was a beautiful relationship that started from there, being able to really take each other's differences and exchange information, exchange knowledge. Dispel myths, dispel biases and stereotypes. We had so many important conversations during that time about just each other's culture. And I was like, I'm called to be here. I feel like, this is something that needed to happen. And I always say that, things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And so I felt like I needed them just as much as they needed me to be there to show them just a different realm. And I even like showed them, taught them about even doing like one of the like the fashion colors and the vivid colors, because they were a very conservative salon. But I watched them ease into and come out of their box and try new things. Back then, balayage was, new on the scene. I taught them that because I was always the one in salon, like wanting to learn extra things, different things that were out of the box and add something new to my skill set. And I encouraged them to do the same thing. So that was a beautiful thing. And then later on, I realized, okay, I'm ready to do something totally different. I am someone who thrives in change and thrives in excitement. And so when I start feeling complacent or feeling bored, I'm like, hey, it's time for a shift. And by this time, I have 3 children. While I was there, I had my youngest daughter, who is now 7. And she became a salon baby and was in everybody's arms and between clients and laying on chairs to take naps. So when I say they were a family, they really were a family who kind of grew with me and supported me through everything. Because I've been a single mom in different periods of time of life and always have, God has always put people in my path that were able to support me through whatever was happening at that time. So after that, I actually became homeless after being there for some time. My money was funny. I got a divorce. Everything kind of like fell apart. This relationship fell apart. And I found myself in a transitional home. So me and my 3 kids, we lived there for about 1.5 years. And I was able to kind of rebuild my life and rebuild my finances. Mind you, I'm still doing hair and running things, as they were the entire time. And I know you guys can relate, like, even when you have things going on in your personal life, you still show up every day and service your clients as if nothing's going on, and you are on for them and you don't let them see you sweat. And so it almost felt like I had to put on a mask to go to the salon every day to be able to, be in a good mental headspace to be there for them. And so I was still able to maintain business as usual during that time. And then after,
so compelling. Oh my goodness. We're gonna have to do a part 2. It's 9:58. We're gonna have to definitely do a part 2, Maria. This is awesome.
This is where we're gonna have to go. Okay. Because I forgot. I had to look down and say, oh, so Akyra, we need to know this. Can you come back next week? Because we're gonna have to put a pin right there because we get ready.
Yeah, no problem. And I'm sorry if I went too long.
No. The audience is enjoying it. I'm getting my little comments over here. So listen, if you could just put a pin in it right there.
Yeah, of course.
We still got to get to the salon, but the story is just amazing. And I'm learning stuff. I didn't know. Like I was in Gloucester and I was in my own little bubble, or I had already left, but you filling in some of the pieces that I did not know. So can you come back next week? We will love
yes.
We're gonna do a part 2.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you.
Yeah, it's all God. God is good.
Oh, yes, he is. Well, listen, you guys, next week we're gonna be doing this with Akyra. We gotta go. You gotta come.
Absolutely.
Got to, because we want
to. Of course.
So thank you so much, sweetheart. It's 10 o'clock. I want you to go take care of them babies because y'all get ready to go to school. They already started school in Georgia.
Yeah.
Get ready for school. So, but you go ahead and take care of them babies. And guess what? Me and Tish, and we will see you next Monday.
Of course. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me, and I'll see you next week.
Good night, everyone. See you next Monday with Akyra. Bye-bye.